little too hard there. There we go. So I was making some lunch yesterday, and it was not good lunch. I don't even, I'm so embarrassed to say what I had for lunch. I'm not gonna even tell you. It was just bad. And my stomach thought it was bad too. So, I'm in bed. My stomach is arguing with me. I'm patting my stomach, saying, there, it's gonna be over pretty soon, don't worry. My stomach's like, no, it's not gonna be over. It's not gonna be over. This moment is just not good. Well, yeah, I for a while, my stomach was really having it in with me, saying, don't do that again. Please don't do that again. So, hopefully, I'll listen to my stomach and not have what I had for lunch yesterday, which I'm embarrassed to say what I had for lunch. And that gets me to the moments where I feel that I am not being true to myself at times, where I make these mistakes, doing something that I think is going to be filling me with much joy and pleasure, and for that little while, when it goes into my mouth and I'm tasting it and it's just tastes really great, and I'm at the temporary point, a moment in my life, I'm like, yes, this is good. This is good. Later on, I suffer the consequences. In my physical self, specifically, my stomach says no. And that, at times where I'm enjoying something in my life that I think I'm having fun with, but is not necessarily me that's having fun. It's just the identity that I created that thinks I'm having fun. So what is this? If you're having fun, you're having fun. Enjoy life, But if there's consequences from having that fun, that's detrimental to yourself, detrimental to your friends or family, detrimental to the environment, it's not really exactly who you are. Your true being is not going to appreciate it. And so we come to the point where we're thinking, well, what is this true being? Who am I myself if I think I'm having fun, but not really having fun? And that's actually a pretty difficult place to get to, is your true being. And why is it so difficult? Because it's years throughout your whole life, you've been living according to what the environment has told you to live. Your family, your friends, your community has invoked this archetype into you, this character that you believe you should be portraying, and to the best of your ability, you portray it. And at times it feels right. You get encouraged to keep portraying it. But is it your true self? And that causes problems later on. There's a conflict that goes on, and then eventually it manifests into physical discomfort, or just a psychosis, anxiety and fears and frustrations, worries throughout your life. Wake up thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this again. Then yes, there's something going on inside you. Your true self is saying, no, I can't do this anymore. You cannot become this person. So when we get older, we get into these conflicts. Well, who am I exactly, and how do I find out? And for some people, it is not fair. I'm going to tell you this right now. It is not fair. Because some people say, that's my true self. Okay, I'm going to be that person to the best of my ability. And they do okay. They're like, okay, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be compassionate and empathetic. And birds are going to land on my shoulder, tweeting inside my ear and everything. And sometimes it works for them. It takes like 3 to 4 months and it's like everything's going good. For some of us, it's really, really difficult to maintain that level once we get to our true self. I mean, our true self is just like, no, all this stuff that you learned about who you thought you were is not you. And we're like, yeah, but I want that. I want to keep on holding on to that. And then your true self say, fine, you could do that. And it will be okay. But you're going to have discomfort. You're not going to be happy. And, yeah. So, how do we get to our true self? And it's a very difficult road to travel. And there's certain methods you could do, certain practices, and I'm understanding that there is no right or wrong practice to get to. Some people do it through exercise, diet, and listening to lectures, and they're like, oh wow, okay, yeah. Some people do it through meditations and prayers, and some people do Vision Quest. The Native Americans have been doing that for thousands of years, but it's up to you to find out who your true self is, and you got to understand that if you really want it, sometimes you really have to work for it. You really have to put in the time. You got to put in the energy. And you got to be compassionate with yourself. Take, for instance, learning to walk, okay? Learning to walk. Some people is like, okay, it's going to take a week. Oh, my child is walking. Oh, that's great. That's pretty quick, And some people, their child to walk takes a while, and that's okay too. You gotta understand. Some people are gonna get to their true self faster if they want it. Some people, it's gonna take a little bit more to do it, and some people would walk and continue walking, and some people like me said, oh, finally, I know how to walk, but I'm going to be falling down at times. Falling down here and there, falling down, and sometimes I'm just like, you know what, I don't want to get up and walk again. This is too hard. I don't want to do it. So, I'll just stay on the ground, look up at the ceiling, say, hello, it's good to see you again. Oh, we may have a leak in our roof there. There's some stains. Yeah. Stay on the floor. You're not going to fall down. Staying on the floor is relaxing. It's comforting. You're just... But eventually you're going to have to walk if you want to get around and enjoy life. So, for me, it was directly through meditations and being honest with myself, finding out all the things that I was not, that I thought I was. I got to the point, though, where when I was walking down a path and I saw a bee It was like the first bee at the end of a beginning of spring, and I was going to say end of winter, but I got to be hopeful, so I got to put in beginning of spring. And the bee landed on a flower, and I was thinking, I like honey. I can't wait to have honey. Now, what's interesting about this is that I never liked honey before. I always thought honey was just like, just too naturally sugary and just not the wrong taste. But soon as I saw that bee landing on the flower, the first thing that came to my mind is I like honey. Well, where did that come from? And I thought I was curious. So I talked with somebody about that, and it's like, oh, I found out that I liked honey. I must be changing. And the person is like, of course you're changing. Not just mentally are you going to change, but physically you're going to change too. And I thought that was weird, So I kept looking into other things. Well, and some people are not going to like this, but I used to like kale, okra, and sweet potatoes. I used to just have a disdain for it. I abhorred it whenever I saw it, on my supper tray. It's like, all right, it's something I'm going to, stay away from. But I'll be darned. I long for that now. I long for a nice sweet potato. Sometimes just raw sweet potatoes. And okra. Oh my gosh, okra. First time I had okra, it was so slimy. It was just blah. But then, I learned to chop it up and, put it in with rice and stuff. And it was just, I don't know. And white rice. I was not a fan of rice. Now it's like a huge staple of mine. I love, it's white rice. I know. Brown rice is a little bit better for me, but hey, I'm eating some grains, okay? So yes, physically you're gonna change. Mentally you're gonna change, and physically, I was not into running, guitar playing. Where did that come from? I was a piano player, I was not a great piano player, sometimes just really awful for my dad to hear, but I played the piano and I enjoyed it thoroughly. But all of a sudden, I liked the guitar. I started playing the guitar, and things when I learned to become my true self changed. And those are some of the good things. Now, the bad things were the fact that I learned that I was giving up a huge part of myself that was comfortable to me. What was comfortable to me was getting upset about something. So if somebody called me a bad name, I was just like, I'm going to go ahead and say something bad to you. Maybe not now, maybe a couple of hours from now, I'm going to think of something and say it to you. But I would get angry if somebody called me a bad name, and that made me comfortable. That made me so I won't have to feel the pain and the angst of that. But now it's like somebody calls me a bad name. I'm learning to listen to that and feel the sadness about it. And that was very, very uncomfortable to me. Feeling the sadness, feeling the just not feeling good inside. And I've learned that actually it's better for you. Just if you're feeling bad, feel bad. Just like a baby. A baby's gonna say, hey, I'm feeling a little discomfort here. and they're gonna let you know. And that was the baby's best defense is to feel what they feel, because it made them better inside instead of holding a grudge, and which really deteriorates you physically and mentally. Holding grudges and getting upset and frustrated, your body physically it starts breaking down. Your mentality starts breaking down. And so there were some things that I wanted to hold on to because it felt more secure for me, and the beliefs behind it. So I had a lot of trouble because for years those things protected me. Those things made me what I thought was a stronger person, and I had to let that go. So quite a few times, I walk and then I fall, and it's hard to get up because I'm comfortable on the floor. I'm comfortable being down there instead of walking around and have the fear that I'm going to fall down again. So some people, when they find themselves, it's going to take a lot harder work, and it's going to be more difficult. It's going to be more frustrating. It's going to be fearful. But in the long run, it's going to be better. And you're going to have to want it. You're going to have to really want it. Especially for those people like me that fall down at the beginning on a regular basis. And it was just better for me to say, I'm comfortable being that person who I was. And of course, it really, really wasn't. So finding your true self is going to be a bit easier for some people and a bit more difficult for other people. But when you find your true self and you feel out of sorts with your environment, and your environment is a different part of your true self, still try to be your true self. There's nothing going to be bad about breaking off with your environment that wants you to be part of their environment. The good people, I won't say the good people, I would say people will know of your true self, and they're going to praise your strength for being your true self. And those people are going to be many, and you may not even see it, but there are going to be a lot of people that are going to praise your strength. So work on it as best as you can. Know that there's a lot of people out there going through the same things you are, and hopefully they're going to be just as understanding. Don't apologize anytime you fall down on the floor. It's going to happen, and people know this. The people that are walking their true self path is going to understand this, and they don't expect you to apologize. They're going to know, hey, you fell down. I've been there too. You want to come back up? Here's a hand, and accept that hand to boost you back up. Don't be afraid. Okay, so that was it for today. I'll close off again and see you later.